Jess, we are back for another fabuloso episode of Serial Streamers, but this time we're virtual bitches.
That's right, bitch. We're at home.
I could not drag my ass out of the house today. I am wearing sweats with a
No.
cute top right now, and that's the bonus of doing virtual recording.
I'm literally wearing sweatpants too, barefoot, and then a
Same.
what is it called? Like a onesie, not a onesie. What do they call
Yeah,
like a
like a
bodysuit?
bodysuit. Oh, no, we used to call them snappy crotches.
Snappy crotches, that's right.
Snappy crotches. Well, you're lucky that I put a bra on for your ass today
I
for this recording. The
Thank
number
you.
of times you're welcome. The number of times I've recorded murderish with like the most haggard outfit and like I just because nobody I don't film myself when I do murderish and
Right, I
nobody gives
know.
a shit. I take Zoom meetings without a bra sometimes too because I'm like, listen, hopefully I don't have to get up to chase after my dogs.
I know. Those titties are hanging low, but you
Them
know
titties
what?
is
Yeah.
hanging low, but not today
But
for
it's
you,
below the
girl.
eye line,
That's
so
it.
it's yeah.
It's all that matters. They're hitting
Yeah.
my desk right now as we
Yeah.
speak. Okay. I want to get to business with you. This is a documentary that admittedly you and I are like a little bit late on. This is the Netflix documentary Unknown Number about this bitch ass Kendra
Yes.
that I am going to have to, as I always do, but I never do a good job. I need to control my rage.
Right.
I did have
You
two
need to
cups of coffee.
channel it. Like just
I've got it.
channel it.
Yeah, I need to channel my inner like yogi, which I never do yoga, but I am gacked out on two cups of coffee, so I might go into a full blown rage. And I'm in perimenopause, as you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. We know. We know. Same. Same.
I say.
No, I mean, we're late in that, like it only came out, what, 2 weeks ago, and then
Right.
just blew up immediately. And I even texted you, I'm like, I'm watching this just in case we cover it because it was, I mean, kind of spoiled for me just because everybody couldn't
TikTok.
help but talk about it like immediately and give it away. But no, it was good. Even when I started watching it, I was like, ugh, it still is like I call it like, there's like fast food and there's fast fashion. I feel like
Fast
Netflix,
documentaries.
yes, Netflix pumps out
100%.
yes. So I was like, the quality is of that. So I did start to kind of like push the little forward button, like,
I did
okay.
too.
I'm like, okay, I get it. Like she's getting these text messages. She's, but, and I forwarded too far and I was like, oh my God. And I saw a part with the mom and I was like, no, bitch, go back and watch this. I need to go back and watch this and
Oh
like
yeah.
try to get all the details of what she was doing.
Well,
And I
this
was
is
still, shocked.
blown away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to go back to something you said. This is exactly why you're my bestie in life because I feel like nobody understands me when I say this documentary is basic as fuck. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if we're documentary snobs or what, but I'm sure this is one of those, like you said, just like fast fashion, fast food,
Pumped it out
whatever.
real
They
quick.
pumped it out real quick.
Uh-huh.
Yes, it is a wild story. Absolutely, I will give you that. But this does not even compare to the Jinx on
No.
HBO,
Right.
the Amanda Knox Netflix documentary
Right.
came out years ago that was cinematically
Right.
beautiful.
Like
Like
these are like award-winning documentaries, but I
absolutely.
think we got into, we've always been fans of any kind of like reality television and, and documentaries specifically, but they weren't as popular as they are now. Now people are just looking to, it's like anything. They'll put out anything. So there's an
Yes.
abundance, but it's kind of like it's hard to find like a gem, you
It
know?
is. And it's also kind of like these housewives that like they saw the podcast trend and they're like, listen, we're already celebrities from this show.
Hmm.
Of course we should go have a podcast. And I don't fault them for that. That is a very smart move. I mean, go get your bag, girl.
Right.
It's a very smart transition that if you're no longer a housewife or if you're like Tamara Judge and you're still a housewife and a blogger, as they call them, um, you should do that. You should go make your money, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the quality of the podcast is going to be all that great. Some
Hmm.
are, some aren't. But I guess my point is that these documentaries, like they were not sexy back in the day. Like I've been watching documentaries for forever. I think you have
Hmm.
too.
Yeah.
But it's only like as of sort of kind of recent that people are in the grocery store being like, dude, have you seen that documentary? Like,
Yeah.
and that's why I started a true crime TV club because we are all out there watching those documentaries. We want to talk about them. But then you start to get into, like you said, they just kind of like churn them out. And so the
Yes.
quality isn't all that great. I will say this is a wild story. It has the potential to be an amazing documentary, but oftentimes they don't dive nearly as deep. And I know I'm biased, but I will always say if you want the real story on like a true crime case, go
Hmm.
listen to a serialized podcast. For by and large, podcasters do it right, and
They
they will
do.
cover these cases and they will go into every
Oh,
nook,
details.
cranny.
Yes.
But these documentaries, they scratch the surface. Like the Amy Bradley one, there is so much more to learn on that
Hmm.
case. I found out that it's like the documentary just doesn't, documentaries are usually like what, 2 to 4 episodes, sometimes
Right.
five if it's like
Hmm.
a bang up story with a lot of information. But I don't know. Like I agree with you. I would tell everybody to go watch this because it's wild and you won't believe it and you're gonna rage, on the
Hmm.
mom, like all of us are. But I wouldn't say that it's like the best
No, it's like
documentary.
a throwaway. It's like
That's
it's
it.
just kind of like, okay, I watched it and I'm gonna get over it. It's worth discussing though, for sure. It's worth like
Yes.
talking about. But no, as like yeah, like you said, like the cinematography or just the quality of the documentary. I mean, it's aight.
It's I. It's I.
Yeah,
I've seen better. It's not the Jinx. And the Jinx will
I
be
know.
just like the Atlanta housewives
Hmm.
are my bar for
Hmm.
any housewives to come, which that is a very high bar to meet for how entertaining and freaking amazing those women are.
Hmm.
It's the Jinx is my bar.
Yeah, it's our barometer. It's like what
It's
we tested against. Yeah.
that's
I
it.
have one that I actually own, and then to be honest, they're usually HBO documentaries. I really do love those. But even then, I've been trying to find one. I loved The Mortician, but we talked about not covering that. But
Right.
there's The Crash Reel is one of my all-time favorite documentaries. Probably it's as much as The Jinx. It's my
Oh, I
number.
have
It's
not
right.
seen that.
It's about a snowboarder who was competing in I forget which Winter Olympics against Sean.
Yeah, Shaun
You know,
White,
thank you.
or is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah, but he suffers like a horrible head injury in the half pipe. But what's crazy is that they have the injury on camera because everybody's video, that's when you're trying to get footage to like post places like of him doing his tricks in the half pipe. But it
Yeah.
goes through, it turns into this major TBI he suffers, and then his whole journey after that. It is incredible. It's award winning. The music is incredible. The footage is incredible. The story is incredible. And then there's like a little side story. His brother has Down syndrome, and they do a whole thing about his brother having Down syndrome. It is truly,
It's like a
I
story within a
you
story.
have to see it. It is,
Oh, I
I
will.
love it. So
That
I own
sounds
it. I bought it.
right
Like
up
I
my,
bought
oh
it.
my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
That is right up my alley. That's a
You
really,
have
really
to
good.
watch it.
And you
Yes.
have superb taste in
Oh, yes.
documentaries, I
Thank
will
you.
say.
Thank
So
you.
I already know that thing's good. So I
Yeah.
will be watching that. But
Okay.
yeah, so this documentary, basically what happens is, we don't find out until like toward the end. Obviously, you and I knew kind of who the perpetrator
Hmm.
was going into it. And spoilers, everybody, we are going to talk all
Yeah.
about this. We're going to name the perp. Like, just
Yeah.
get over it. All right. It's been out 2 weeks. Get over it. It's basically these high school kids who are dating, and it's Lauryn and Owen.
Hmm.
And they're like the cutest couple ever. And they're
Yes.
dating and they're very sweet.
They're both
And
like
they
athletes, like good kids.
good kids. And they are in a small town in Michigan, very small town. And they start getting these harassing, like the downright abusive text messages. And
Hmm.
basically, somebody is stalking them. They know where they are from time to time. They start saying, and basically, the gist of the text messages are really trashing Lauren's self esteem. Like, you're trash. He doesn't love you. He wants me. You can't make him, you can't
You can't please
satisfy him.
him.
You
Yeah.
can't please. And we're going to talk about how bad these text messages get. I died. But basically, like, you have a flat ass, you're a whore, and it just progresses into all out, like, you need to end your life. You
Yes.
need to do that. Like, very, very dangerous and abusive. And so, there's all these different suspects. At one time they think it's like this supposed mean girl in high school. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm pretty sure her and her family are mean girls. That was
Oh, from
like,
like based on their like how they interviewed.
sorry. Yeah, the gut instinct I got was that she might be a little bit of a mean girl, but listen, I don't have a lot of evidence to back it up other than gut instinct. But all these different people become suspects and they start wondering, like, is it this person that I'm passing
Hmm.
in the hallway at school? Like, is it this person? So an investigation, eventually ensues and kind of like things unravel from there. Like, the one thing I will say, one of my first thoughts that I wanted to make a note about was that, and I always tie it back to other like true crime cases,
Hmm.
right? So this sort of kind of reminded me of the Jean Ramsey case
Oh.
in that the letter that the perpetrator wrote and left in the house, the ransom letter, they tried to make it sound like it was a we, like a team of people or more
Yes.
than one person committing this crime. And I've always believed it's not, it's one person. But they're trying to throw the scent off by
Right.
saying we are a faction of blah, blah, blah. Well, the perpetrator did that in this scenario too. And I thought it was interesting. It's like, I would imagine that I don't know how many statistics on this, but like 8, 9 times out of 10, when a ransom note letter comes in or like a stalker says we, it's probably like an I.
Yeah.
But they're trying to throw the scent off. So I
Hmm.
know that sounds so random, but like I couldn't help but think of the John Benet Ramsey case
Ramsey.
that I think that was always a tactic to make
Hmm.
it them think that it was more than one person when it probably is not.
Right.
And that perpetrator did the same thing. And we would find out it was one perpetrator. It was
Right.
not a we at
Right.
all.
Right.
So that was my
And
thought. What were your thoughts? Like,
yeah, no, I mean that's I picked up on the same thing actually, and I thought like, if saying the we, especially like in high school, because usually it does take like a group of mean girls or there's always, so it made it more realistic, I guess,
sure.
to utilize like a plural, like a group setting that would be bullying Lauren.
And you're right. And I could see, and that did happen. So at some point, the perpetrator sees that this other girl at school is being blamed, and maybe some of her friends as well, for the bullying and the harassing text messages. And the perpetrator feeds into it
Hmm.
and like starts sending text messages to make, Lauryn and Owen and everybody else think that, yeah, it's probably is these mean girls
Hmm.
over here. So I can see, so it's like in an adult situation, that would be very rare that 2, 3 adults would get together to stalk and harass these teenage kids, right?
Hmm.
But it's like somewhat believable that like a group of mean girls, 2 or 3 of them,
Yeah.
would get together and conspire to do this, this
Hmm.
shitty thing to these kids. So I
Right.
see your point. And the perpetrator knew that. The perpetrator was like, yeah, let me latch on. This is the most Occam's razor
Hmm.
would indicate that like, the simplest explanation is probably the
The right
correct
one.
one. Yeah. So in that scenario, yeah, this could be a case of Occam's razor. It could be these high
Hmm.
school girls that are just being mean. Kids are assholes.
Right.
Yeah,
Honestly,
you and I went through several years of an asshole
I
phase. Like
know.
we
I
truly,
know.
you and I admit
I
that, and
regret it all. I
we'll
really do
have to
regret it.
repent till the day we die.
I
Like
know.
we
I
were
know.
teenage assholes, frontal lobe not fully formed.
Right.
So that's really my
Right.
excuse. But yeah, so then things progress from there. And
It's
then
like
at
the investigation kind of steps up because first it's like, this kind of complaints, and the parents are like, what is going on? And then the school kind of gets involved, and then the principal really gets involved. And then they're looking at like, aren't they looking at like the coming and going of kids in class and whether they have their phone or not? And if they're on their phone, like during like,
yes,
in between classes as they're walking to see like, would they be texting at that time? And could that, they were like starting that. And then they actually get the FBI involved, right? Or,
they do. And to your point, they basically, the authorities tell Lauren, like, hey, monitor when a text message comes in, alert us right away. And then we're going to observe the cameras at school to see
mhm.
who's on their phone right at that time or around that time to try and like go, oh, these 2 girls over here, they were sending a text on the video in the hallway,
Right.
during passing period when you
Hmm.
got that threatening text message. So maybe it's them.
Right.
And that doesn't really pan out. But
And
yes,
also I think because what the text messages had, they had to be like in school, or there had to be like they had to know what was going on campus, right?
yes,
So
that's a very
that's a
good
it's a good
point.
point because I mean, I'm patting myself, not patting myself on the back, but it's a point that's made because when you find out who it is, she did have access to school and was on campus
Yes.
a lot, and which it's still, but you
Yes,
wouldn't think her.
but you wouldn't think her. So, to your point, yes, that would make it seem very likely that it's
Mhm.
a group of mean girls or somebody on campus
Right.
because they're talking about things happening at school. So, it's like this person has to be at the school in some capacity
Hmm.
to be able to talk about things you're doing at school. Like they're all this perpetrator is all on the up and up of what's going on, and they know where you are at school and what's going on at school. So, again, that would make people think, and they did for quite a while. The finger was pointed at this girl who was a supposed kind of mean girl who didn't really get along with Lauren anyway. And maybe she was jealous that Lauren and Owen had such a great relationship and she was friends with Owen and wanted to push Lauren out.
Right.
Who knows? But eventually, unfortunately, these text messages break Owen and Lauren up. Like their relationship
Yes, they
can't
can't take it.
sustain.
Right.
It's just like on and on and on and on. And Owen's mom becomes pretty involved, like from the beginning. She's like, I've got to get to the bottom of this. This is terrible. What's happening to my son? And so she really is like going to the school and, hey, we've got to address this. And
Hmm.
eventually, Lauren's mom becomes involved as well. And Lauryn and Owen's mom had gotten really close
Close.
as Owen and Lauryn were dating. So they were like very friendly. So
Hmm.
they kind of teamed up and they're like, hey, let's tackle this. But it did seem like Owen's mom was more
More involved.
leading
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
charge. Yeah. And we would find out later why that is. So this thing progresses. And tell me, remind me if I'm missing anything, but at a certain point, well, I do, the text messages get much worse.
Horrible. Yes.
I
They're
mean,
disgusting. They're like inappropriate. They have sexual content. They're like, and then telling her to unalive herself. And yeah,
okay,
it's,
but the way that I wanted to vomit when the perpetrator would use the word creamy,
oh,
ooh,
disgusting.
I just
That compounded with Netflix's use of that robot voice, it was, I
wait, why am I not remembering the robot
Oh,
voice? Was it
they use like some kind of distorted voice to read the text messages
Oh, yes.
in the doc.
Ugh,
That I was like, please. It was totally, I
stop.
don't know if it was like a sensory issue I have, but I
It's
could not
disgusting.
handle it. I was just
No.
like, I almost was just like, put the subtitle. I'll read it. I don't need to
Yeah.
hear this weird ass voice repeat this weird ass text. Like I
Like
don't
she
want to hear
literally
it.
said the most vile, vile things. Like it would make a
Yes.
grown man blush.
Yes.
It was just the words that so let's just get into that. So we would eventually find out. And how did they find out?
Yeah,
They
so the
found out,
FBI gets involved,
yes,
right? Okay.
FBI gets involved.
Yes. And so they start looking at like phone records and he's putting together like and there's like it looks like there's some kind of phone calling service or app or something that's used to generate you can't really track the number back to where it's coming from kind of a thing. So
Right.
like I don't remember
They
exactly, but
track it to
he
an IP address
that's right.
that is owned by none other than Lauren's mom, Kendra.
Kendra.
So
Which is the
Kendra,
shocking moment. He said there's one number that, or they can link it back to, and they said like Kendra's, or Lauren's mom, Kendra, and that is like the shocking viral reaction everybody has, which I sent you. So like there was an
yeah.
edit of like 10 different like
Well, all the
reactions.
moms reacting. I
Yeah,
loved the edit that I think you're the one who sent me this. It's a bunch of moms
yeah,
watching it, and when they find out it's a mom
yeah.
doing it, they're like,
Yes,
like
literally
they're just like
cannot
so shocked.
process. Yeah,
They cannot process. And if I didn't know that going in, I'm sure I would have the same reaction
yeah,
because what the fuck?
right.
I mean, the words, here's the thing. It's not funny, obviously, but like the fact that this bitch is like literally talking, none of it's funny. But I
No.
just think it's so disgusting that this like 40, 50 something year old woman, whatever she is talking about how her daughter cannot make him cream. Heck, like,
Oh, that's the part where you kind
ugh,
of like you find out it's her and then you start thinking back like to all and what the actual text messages said and it makes it even more unbelievable that she
disgusting.
was and that's the part where this documentary I was like, okay, it's just the last half basically because we get to see so they find out Kendra interviews for this documentary. So she's on
Mm-hmm.
again. We love the access to the real
Mm-hmm.
people. It's not some actor or some comment or they weren't available for comment or
Some
they
talking head talking
something.
for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's on there and then we have the body cam footage of when the police go to her house and and we get to see kind of like, the her giving her reasoning why, which is still not okay and
No,
does
she took
not
zero accountability.
right.
And first off, bullshit, Kendra.
Oh yeah.
Nobody else started these text messages like you claim.
Oh
It's
yeah.
she
So the first
told
couple were, and then she got like
somebody else.
addicted, or it took her out. She was like a different person.
She carried the torch from there. She's like, "Oh,
Okay.
bitch." She's like, "Hold my beer.
Yeah, I
I
know.
can do better."
Yeah.
This bitch, I swear to, that was such a lie. And to me, I have no psych expertise,
Right.
but like to me, that's just her trying to soften what she did. To
Yeah.
say, "Well, I didn't start it, but yes, I do admit that I got carried away. Woe is me, whatever."
Mhm.
She's trying to soften it, bitch. You started that thing and you ended that thing. And you not only made your daughter try to, my dog's, hey, he's like,
Yeah.
did you hear his tags?
Yeah.
He's like,
Look at him in the
I
background
don't know.
now. What?
Oh my God, he has his bitch
Do,
haircut.
do, 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 do,
Look at his
do, do. Look
haircut.
at him.
He,
Oh,
whenever he gets his
Clipper.
haircut, we call it his bitch cut.
Why?
He
It's
looks like a little
cute.
bitch. I
It's
love
like he's
him.
got his edge of his ear like
Oh my
clean
God.
cut.
Yes. You should see the baboon butt that they cut in the back so he doesn't get dingleberries.
Oh my God, it's like his BBL.
Oh, it's totally a baboon butt. Like it is a
Oh, I love
BBL.
it.
Anyway, I love my dog so much. But no, basically, like, she not only did her damn best to make her daughter feel like 2 centimeters tall and like trash and to hate herself and talked about her looks. You're flat ass, you're a whore, you can't satisfy him, he doesn't want you. Then it progresses into you should go kill yourself.
Right.
You should. So my thing is that she very likely could have gotten one of these kids killed. There was a texting
Oh,
murder, the Michelle Carter
right.
case. Like that is
Hmm.
a thing. And words matter. And one of these kids could have felt so vulnerable and so insecure and so depressed
Hmm.
that they could have done that. And
Yeah.
that would have been on her shoulders. So that's where it's like, no, this is the darkest of the dark. And that is where I think that there was a missed opportunity in this documentary
Hmm.
to have some experts talk about the psychology of Kendra. What makes a mom turn on her daughter like that? Is it that she's jealous of her? Is it that
Hmm.
she and or had some sort of sick fascination with Owen? Is it that she hates how she grew up and she hated herself at that age
Hmm.
and her daughter's this beautiful, like, athletic, whatever, and she everything she wanted to be? I don't know.
I know. Well,
But
she does
also,
say, I mean, she does give some kind of she mentions her childhood. They don't go
mhm.
into it. Or maybe she was sexually assaulted. I think there was like a sexual assault or something that had
Oh,
happened to her. Or she brings up something. I wish I could remember the whole thing. So she does try to give an explanation, but somebody, and I don't remember, I don't think it was on the documentary, it was probably through TikTok, but this was like a form of Munchausen by
that's
proxy.
what it
So
seems like.
yeah, so it's somebody who it's a parent who has this weird codependent, because that's the part that I hated the most is like
Me
when
too.
she was on the body
I
cam,
love
you can
you. I
see her.
love you.
Yeah,
Yes.
like don't take me away from her. She needs me. But like, bitch, you were just,
You're
you caused all. So that's how she is so psychological. I don't know. Like I said, we don't know what her
There's a
diagnosis
lot
is.
going
A
on.
lot going on, but she clearly is unwell
Hmm.
and disoriented and disassociates and is all these things to be able to do that, but then comfort her, but then there's like this attention, and the fact that she's even on the documentary, that's another form of attention for her.
You're exactly
So
right.
it all tracks with like Munchausen by proxy. So I
Yeah.
think that is kind of what it is. And then we find out through, when the husband shows up, she didn't have a job. She lied about being employed for years. She lied
Hmm.
about being laid off. She was the one handling all their finances, and that was
And not
falling
paying
apart.
bills,
Right.
and also the reason she knew what was going on in that school is that she used to coach basketball
Hmm.
at the school. So she was sort of like in the zeitgeist or whatever. Like she was in the area, she
Yes.
was amongst these kids.
Hmm.
And they also kind of describe it as this is such a small town that a lot of the parents, the moms probably especially, are very much in the kids' business. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
part of their entertainment. I don't
Hmm.
know how else to say it, but
Hmm.
like, I could give two shits what's going on with my daughter's group chat as long as it's
Oh
not toxic and
yeah.
harmful and
Right.
it's safe.
Hmm.
Like, right, but it's like, I don't need to know what playlist what game they're playing on Row. I don't. Like, I
Yeah.
don't need to know all that. I don't need to know the drama, like the stupid drama, but I do
Hmm.
need to know if it's like toxic and unsafe. And I do check in with Stevie. But it just seems like a lot of the moms there, at least they painted it this way.
Right.
And we didn't hear from all the moms that were like all up in their daughter's
Yeah.
business.
And they said
Sort
these
of like,
kids went to school. It was like K through 12. Like
yeah,
they all have gone to school. It's like one school, I think, in the
yeah.
community, and they all go to
Everybody
it.
knew
So
everybody.
again, not living in a small town has probably saved us,
Mm,
because I mean, like
yes, yes.
there's some things that like really come out of that. I don't know if it's boredom or I don't know, exposure to, other things. I don't know what it is, but somebody had said like small towns and when
Like
things
lack
like
of
this happen,
stimulation.
yeah, but that needs to be studied because there's
Yes.
something there,
Yes.
in that.
Yes, I agree. Like I literally them just showing video footage of the town.
Mhm.
I was already depressed. I was like, oh
I'm like,
God,
oh, there's one stoplight or a stop
literally,
sign. Yeah, I know.
dude. And I listen, no hate to
No
small
shade.
towns, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I have never, that's not how you and I
It
grew
gives
up. And
me
so
anxiety though. It
it
really
does.
does. There's
It
certain things
does.
like certain areas. I mean, there is actual research and science back to like urban design and things like that, like where in it how it impacts your mood.
Yes.
So one of them is like that, where it's like there's not a lot of landscaping or trees, or it's just like, vast openness with like,
Very
two
gray,
streets that like
not a lot of
intersect.
places to go, not a
Right.
lot of like
Not
visually
the
stimulating
walkability isn't
things.
there. Yes.
Yeah, like it just, we are very spoiled, I will say,
Hmm.
with just all the things to do
Right.
that are within like a few miles driving distance from our
Hmm.
house or even walking distance, you
Yeah.
know? So it is a very different lifestyle. And I do think, like you said, it should be studied. I do think that boredom can lead to trouble.
Hmm.
Not always,
Yeah.
but even kids at home, boredom led to trouble for you and me. Like during the summers, remember you would,
That's we were like, what else can we get into? What
who
else?
else can
What
we
other
fuck
like
over?
trauma can we,
Yeah.
yeah, and put on other people? Like it is because we did have like I feel like even though it wasn't a small town, it kind of was. I don't know,
Yeah. It was like
but
suburbia.
yeah, and there wasn't much to do. Literally, I mean, you just ride your bike
No.
around and
So you and I
just
ordered pizzas to the neighbors' houses.
yeah,
And then we would
taxis,
peer. Yeah, we would
watch them show up.
order taxis. You just gave up our age,
I,
bitch.
there were these autonomous cars,
No,
driving people
God.
around. Yeah,
No Waymos, no Waymos.
right.
But yeah, like that's, you and I would get bored and we would just go do stupid shit. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just what people do.
yeah.
So now Kendra is on camera and she's basically, I was already so pissed off seeing her on my screen and
Oh
taking
yeah.
literally no freaking accountability for
No.
this.
And
Um,
trying to make an excuse or explain.
Explain it away.
Yeah.
And then
One of the
when,
explanations she gave, sorry, I'm interrupting
no,
you, but
go
one of the
ahead.
explanations she gave was like, or she was like, how like some people like get a DUI because they like drink and drive. Like they made a mistake.
Oh, I hated that part.
They made a mistake and they got caught and they're paying for it. But it's like, you're
Bitch,
what?
I'm sorry. Like, okay, I hate when monsters, like true monsters, try to be like, listen, have you ever lied before? No,
Yeah.
Sherry Papini. Yes, I've
Yeah.
lied, but
Yes.
I've never staged my own fucking abduction
Right.
and left my kids and husband astray
I
and then
know.
came back and pretended that two Mexican ladies fucking,
Yeah.
picked me up on the street. It's the same thing with this bitch. It's
Right.
like, Kendra, she
Like we've
even
all
said,
done bad is what she's trying to say.
okay,
We've
yeah,
all not
Jessi
like
and I ordered
this.
pizzas to
Yeah.
motherfuckers' houses.
Yeah. We made a prank call.
Yeah,
Okay. Like so what? But
yeah.
it's like, but a mother, side
I
or
have never
bullying.
rage texted and stalked
Yeah.
my own daughter and
Right.
told her to go end her life. Like that is where I
Out
get
of
so pissed off.
entertainment. Yeah.
Yes, out of entertainment or jealousy
Attention
or
getting or whatever.
obsession or
Yeah.
whatever is.
Mhm.
I did really, really wish that they would have dived into more of the psychology. But that's
Mhm.
again, that's these documentaries. They kind of like
Yeah.
scratch the
Pump them out.
surface.
Yeah.
Right. So that was interesting to kind of hear her try to like soften the blow. There is no
Mhm.
softening the blow. What you did is
No.
disgusting. And I wish they would have looked her dead in the eye and said, what would you have done? Oh, I think they did address this. Something like, well, what would you have done? Like, if she would have killed herself. She's like, oh, I know my daughter. No, I kind of knew. It's like, no, bitch, you don't know.
Mhm.
Like, she could have killed herself, and then
Yeah.
that would have been on your shoulders. So, what she did, and I
And the
don't
sick
think that
cycle
she,
of what she was doing is like I think part of it was she would, do this and, like basically ruin Lauren's day every day with these text messages, but then Lauren would come home and I think she was able to then comfort her and
yes,
take care of her, furthering this like codependent she needed to be needed. And Lauren, I felt so bad for her. And of course, and even at the end when you're trying to see her trying to process and deal with her now new relationship with her mom. It's so sad because it's fully a form of abuse, but
it
she
is.
loved her abuse. But her mom, it's so messed up. It messes with your her own psyche and
It's a mind fuck.
psychology. Yes,
It really
because she's like,
is.
I this person who comforted me during these times was the person who was doing it. Like, how do you even process that
That
as a
is
child?
so terrible to do to your daughter and so deeply confusing. And it's very manipulative. And going back to your point that you made earlier, yes, they did make that point in the documentary that like this might have been her like way of also getting more being needed by her daughter because
Mhm.
her daughter would be depressed about it and upset. So who would she go to? She would go to her mom, but her mom
Mhm.
is the very person
Right.
causing it. And it's like almost like if Kendra needed more attention that day, she's like, let me just ramp up these text messages because I know my daughter's going to come running home after school and I'm going to hold her in my arms and I'm going to,
Mhm.
love bomb her, which is another thing that she did. So
Yes.
Kendra does eventually get convicted of, I think, stalking
Hmm.
Owen and Lauryn, and she does do some prison time, although it's not nearly enough. I think she did like 10 months.
Right.
Not nearly enough, but she's
No.
love bombing her daughter the entire time that she's in prison. I love you. I love you. I love you. I
And,
love
oh,
you. I
and
love you.
you didn't say I love you when you hung up. Like
Oh,
there was one part where
fuck
she didn't.
off.
Yeah. She was then like, it's like gaslighting her.
Yes. Yes. And it's gross. I think she's gross. And I want to say I don't give a shit what's going on psychologically, but I actually do. I do think that everybody would learn a lot to
Hmm.
understand because that's a part as mothers we cannot as human beings, but especially as mothers, as parents, we cannot understand being the person who is inflicting such harm on your own child. You're
Right.
there to protect, and
Right.
she did the opposite, and it just was like a game to her, or
Hmm.
some sort of sick game. And I do want to know, like, what was going on with her. I think you might be onto something. Maybe it was Munchausen by
Hmm.
proxy.
Hmm.
Maybe it's some sort of like I can't venture to guess because
I
I'm
mean,
not an
I mean
expert.
that it aligns the most with that in a way, but I don't think we've ever seen it in this present
Form.
like this. It's usually a medical, they make their child sick, and that's how then the child needs them, and then they get attention because they're taking the child to all these doctor's appointments, and oh, woe is me, look at my sick child. Like we see that, we've seen that. But this is the first time we're seeing this through like cyberbullying, this
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like
Munchausen
yeah,
presentation.
and it's almost like she was making her daughter mentally sick.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
Yes.
a physical, like, hey, I'm poisoning you every day so that I can take care of you and tell everybody you're sick. It's like she was affecting her mental health
Right.
and Owen's as
And
well.
Owen, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and everybody. I'm sorry, Owen's parents are victims of this.
Oh
Like,
my
there
God,
were
yeah.
many victims of this. And I just cannot, it's so hard to understand, but that's why it is fascinating because our brains are so different. And that is where I get so fascinated. It's like you could go do something tomorrow, and I could be sitting here scratching my head going, how the hell could Jesse do that? Like, how
Mhm.
could Jesse do? But your brain is telling you that that was the right thing to do. And
Right.
that's where it's like we get so frustrated sometimes, especially in the, current political climate. People are on, it's very polarizing.
Hmm.
And it's like one side could be like, how the F can you sleep at night? And the other
Hmm.
side's like, how do you sleep at
Right.
night?
Oh
So,
yeah, I
and
know.
it's like we can't understand each
Hmm.
other, but it's like our brains they process things
Yeah. And I think
so
that's what
differently.
yeah, and that's what's like at the crux of, true crime enthusiasts. It's not that they want to commit crimes, it's the fascination with how can somebody do this to somebody else, or how can somebody come up with this to like hurt or harm somebody else? Like how, because you can't yourself even imagine having something click over where you would ever think it's okay to do that to your child or to somebody else, or so I think that's why we all kind of are these like true crime junkies, because I think the majority of it is how does somebody become like that, and why would they be doing these things, you
Yes.
really.
And like, how can if I did anything close, I couldn't sleep at night. Same
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
And same with mostly everybody. So it's like, how does somebody become so different than the average everyday human being? I will
Hmm.
say, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, for lack of a better term, it's like, how is Ted Bundy, out here and it's almost like he has to kill these people to fulfill some
Hmm.
sort of sick thing that
But
he
what is
had.
that thing? Like, what is that
Yes.
brain
Like the
chemistry? Like,
itch I
what
have to
is
scratch
that?
is to go spend money I don't have on pants that I want.
Yeah. Same.
Damn it. But it's like to go and literally stalk human beings and murder them in the middle of the night and then go and do it again 2 weeks later. Like
Yeah.
it's very, very fascinating. It's very, very dark and
Hmm.
scary. But yeah, this mom, and I'm sorry, but nobody with those teeth should be
Oh,
talking about how she can make a boy cream better than anybody.
God. Disgusting. I know. I mean, people really came for her, like in the way that she looked and everything.
And
But
we can. This is
yeah.
when we
Oh,
can attack.
yes,
So
that's
sorry,
right.
she has earned it, and I am not
Yeah.
sorry for making that comment about this woman. She is
Yeah.
vile.
Right.
But I don't know. Overall thoughts are kind of like we said in the beginning. This it would have been maybe it would have had like more of an impact had I not known who the perpetrator was going in. But
Yeah.
still, it isn't like
So
going to
it
be
was
this. Oh,
spoiled for you on.
oh yeah, I already knew
Okay. Okay.
going into it, which is fine, which I
Yeah.
still thought it was interesting and I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
But again, it is not going to level up to like The Jinx or Amanda Knox or the documentary you named earlier.
Right.
But it's so interesting because, I listen to like Jeff Lewis Live, you do too, and
Hmm.
I listen to all these different podcasts. Everybody's ranting and raving about this. You have to watch it. It's the best thing ever. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, for basic documentary girlies, yes, this
Yes.
is a great
Yeah.
documentary.
Uh-huh.
But I'm sorry, our taste is a little more refined.
No, but we all
Uh,
love a like we all there's a dopamine release or
that's
something
it.
when someone's like, bitch, like,
You
oh my
gotta
God.
watch this.
Yeah, guess what happened? Guess what? What happened
Yes.
was like we all live for that, whether we're telling each other that, like water cooler talk, or
Yes.
so that's what these fast documentaries are giving. There is like a little bit of a like, oh, like, but it's a lot of nothing for that one moment of something. So,
It is,
you
but at
know,
the very least, we could be a part of the conversation. Like there
exactly.
are literally 10 people I can think of, including you, that I have had conversations about this documentary with.
Right.
And it just kind of like, this is what I like about these documentaries is it binds us all together. It gives
Yes.
us common ground. We can all kind of like bond over it and go, oh, well, I thought this. Well, I thought this. And
Hmm.
gives us something, I hate to say fun, but something fun to talk about on social media, on
Yeah.
TikTok. I love talking to random people from, I don't know, Italy, Arkansas, wherever they're from. And we talk about the same thing because we
Yeah.
want, like, it binds us all together. And I do like that aspect. And it really is kind of a phenomenon that, like, reality TV and these documentaries really are like common ground for such a wide variety of people. Like everybody is out there
Oh yeah.
watching them, no matter what your age is, your
Hmm.
race, your background, like everybody's just so we can go on and talk about. And I love that about it. So yeah, this documentary is not going to win any awards, but it's definitely
No.
like interesting to talk
Damn.
about.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
Damn, Kendra.
And
So yeah, that was really it. She did do some prison time, and I will say that scene where the dad confronts her and he sort of like points to the daughter and he says something about her. That's when I did start crying
yeah,
during that scene, and that's when Lauryn sort of broke as well. And that was just so heartbreaking for her. She'd already been through so much, and now to find out that it's somebody inside her own house,
I
like her
know.
own mom. So
I know.
I would be curious to see where they go from here. She did kind of indicate toward the end that she goes, I'll see my mom when I'm ready. But then before that, it seemed like she was kind of advocating for a mom. And
Hmm.
I love my mom and I'm going to see
Hmm.
her and I don't care what anybody thinks. And to me, that wasn't shocking because, I have people in my life who were abused as children
Hmm.
and they want nothing more than a relationship with their parents.
Oh
And
yeah.
those were the
I
very
know.
people that
Yes.
abused them.
Abuse them. And
So
that's,
that
I
is,
mean, and that is the sad truth. I mean, that's what makes it even more. I mean, we're parents. We have, I mean, we both have daughters too. That was something else that kind of just like, I felt more like for Lauryn, my feelings towards
mhm.
her were so much strong. Like, you got emotional. So did I. But it's like that's the sad part about children is that they're so precious always,
Oh,
and that the fact that, they would still go towards an abuser, an abuse like that who is like a parent because that is all they know and that is like the form of love. But I do think as Lauryn gets older and processes this at different stages of development, as her brain develops
mhm.
further and things change, she will, I mean, now there's a whole documentary about, I mean, to refer back to, but it'll be interesting to see, how she deals with this in her adult life.
Yeah,
Because she might be
absolutely.
very resentful and who knows, and not have a relationship and cut her out completely. But I'm grateful that she has her father and it shows them at the
Mhm.
very end, you know, together. And she said she's become really close with her dad, which I'm sure Kendra didn't really allow that. It was kind of like she probably iced him out a little bit. And it was like her and her daughter had
I
such
think
a
that's
great
a really good
relationship.
point
Yeah.
that I hadn't thought about, that
Mhm.
that she probably did affect Lauren's ability to become close
To
to her
bond.
father
Yeah.
because she
Mhm.
sort of hogged her. Like Kendra sort of like wanted Lauren to idolize her and be,
Mhm.
loving with her and be close to her. But like it did seem like the dad was a little bit like on the outskirts of
Yeah.
things, and then
Yeah.
that's sad. So now it has given Lauren and her dad an opportunity to get closer. And the other thought that I had was if and when Lauren ever decides to have children, it would be interesting to see if she would allow her mother to be a present grandmother. Because I've
Mhm.
covered true crime cases where the mother was the perpetrator and that I've seen it both ways where the daughter decided, no, you will not be in my kids' lives because you're dangerous and toxic. And then I've seen it other ways where they're like, I will let you in on a limited basis. I
Mhm.
will have you on a short leash, but you can be a part of your grandkids' lives. So it is like that would be interesting to
Mhm.
kind of track as well.
Yeah, and also how if she does have kids, you kind of then you don't know the kind of true love. I always say true love is true, like the love you have for your children. People go out there and looking for like Prince Charming or Mrs. Charming or whatever you're looking for. But when you have a child, that to me is like pure,
Oh,
true love. So
obsession. Like
yeah,
but
so that's
healthy obsession. Like
healthy,
you,
yes, but that's when that's why it is so hard to consolidate or to bring together like how she could do something like this. So she has her own children. I think that is going to be another hard thing. And I've seen that with other people who have been abused, even like just talking of the housewives, like Emily from the Housewives. She talks about her
oh,
very toxic relationship she's had with her mother, and she grew up with a very mentally, unstable mother. And now
yes.
that she's a mom herself, it's hard to, how could a mother ever do what she endured, basically?
Hmm.
So I wonder if Lauren will have, the same
Yeah, and a
past.
lot of times, unfortunately, with abuse, sometimes the abused go on to repeat that pattern,
Hmm.
sadly. But oftentimes they go and do the direct opposite. And
Exactly.
they say, I am going to break this cycle of abuse and I'm going to do the direct opposite of what was done
Hmm.
to me. So Lauren seems to be like a good kid, a good, young
Oh, yeah.
woman. And so I have no doubt she would be a wonderful mother. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting aspect to it too. But yeah, overall thoughts, I think we kind of wrapped it up. It's an very fascinating story, very dark and just disturbing story.
Hmm.
Um, but cinematically or whatever, like yeah, the documentary was just like kind of basic as
Yeah.
fuck, but
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would
I could.
still
It's
recommend
like
people to watch
me
it.
too. I would too. And the last half is great. I mean, I was like in it for the last half. But
Yeah,
if
especially
you
because
can tolerate that robotic voice reading those, go back and listen to it because honestly, it's weird. And I'm just like, whoever greenlit that from Netflix or
should
whoever
be
produced
fired.
it, yeah, like come on,
Yeah, for
please.
putting us through that. We're already going through a lot and hearing this mom use the C word that I will never use again in my life.
I know.
It's
I
disgusting.
know.
And not the see you next Tuesday word.
No,
I feel like this one's even
it's
worse.
worse.
But yeah, then to have those read aloud, like in this robot,
I
goodbye.
know.
Well, all right, Jess, should we get out of here?
Yes.
Remember, be that bitch when it comes to your safety. Lights on at night, cover your drinks, and if your gut is telling you that something is off, it probably is. Stay safe out there.